This project is for our new church. Since we moved, we decided we need to get involved in a church closer to our new house. The other one's about 45 minutes away now. The church is installing a new playground for the preschoolers. It's not only for the church members, it's also going to be open to the entire community. They're installing a sidewalk area where the kids can ride tricycles.
Well, we spread this out. Do you want to start hauling some back up into there and just kind of eyeballing it in?
Yeah, I can do that, and maybe you can. Yeah. You guys won't be long, will you?
Well, we're all over 60, so.
That's right, this is a volunteer project. Brian and Chuck are out here because, well, they want to help out, just like we do. We're blessed to have unique equipment and skills that many of the other church members don't have. Leave a comment about the tractor projects that you have done for your community or church.
Also, please take a moment to press that subscribe button, ring that bell, and turn on all notifications. The material we're using for the fill here is a bit unique, at least to me. It looks like sand, but it's actually slag from a local steel company. It should work well for fill, as once we get it compacted, it won't settle like dirt, so it should be great. It handles very easily, with one exception. If you leave it in a pile outside and it gets rained on, the top inch or two become crusty, and that crust breaks up into these bigger chunks or clods that you see. I found that I could break up a lot of those chunks by loading a bucket full and then dumping it right back on the pile and then loading again and just working it a time or two, and then I was able to get them, most of them, broken up. Johnny worked well for this project. Any bigger tractor would not have worked well at all. Of course, a skid steer loader would have worked fine too. Just cost 4 times as much. How are we doing? One of you guys want to trade off and drive a tractor?
I'm good.
I'm okay.
You said over 60.
Way over.
That's probably why you're so strong.
Oh, that's working good. I mean, cooking right along.
He can pull that back with the bucket if you want him to.
At this point, it's better just hand raking so you don't take too much.
Okay.
The other thing, I always try to keep Chuck working because he gets lazy.
Oh, does he now? Chuck had to run take his grandkids to preschool, so I thought I'd try out this rake.
Ryan, any suggestions for me to make it easier for you?
No, you're doing great. I may just put some more labor.
Okay. Christy, do you want to do this?
Not really.
Okay. I don't know if you figured it out, but I'm feeling a little guilty sitting on this tractor while you guys are doing all the work.
Well, I can run the tractor if you want me to. I figured I'd get about half a bucket load that you would get.
Yeah, I'm afraid you might get nervous about the...
Well, and the
level
forms and everything else.
Keeping up?
She's doing great.
Christy, are you up to the side over there? I can see daylight under the...
Drop this a little in there and we'll pull it back.
think the rake works better for you?
Well, that's because I'm fresh. I haven't done much. A lot of our projects expand in scope after we get there and get started. We started this morning with some of this slag used as fill, sand material, to put in to this sidewalk area. Well, as we were finishing, they began to discuss this dirt pile. They began to talk about, the thought was they were going to use it as a children's, like a sloped area for the children to play on. As they talked more, they decided there just simply wasn't room. There's going to be a fence right here to my left, to keep the children contained, and between there and the sidewalk they've decided there is not room to put in a play hump. They're afraid kids will fall down the hump and hit the sidewalk. That's not the goal, nor fall down the hump and hit the fence on this side. So rather, we're going to take this entire dirt pile and we're going to move it out here in a low spot, right kind of where the camera is positioned. Actually, you can't see that, but where the camera is positioned behind it, there's a low spot. As we've often discussed recently, our whole county is a swamp. So this is one of those swampy areas that just sits in water. So we're going to try to build that up just a little bit using this big pile of soil.
Moving that slag for the sidewalk took most of the morning, then they decided to expand our project. What we don't have video of is that we went home, ate lunch, loaded up Vinny, and brought him back to the church. The church isn't very far from our house, so that wasn't a problem.
When we see this type of project expansion, we often don't have the perfect equipment on hand for the job. Christy mentioned that we went home to get Vinny for some of the finished work. In reality, we should have taken Johnny home and brought back Johnny too. We had plenty of space here, and the 2038R would have done a lot better at loading the bucket in this hard-packed mud. Having said that, I must admit that I kind of enjoy trying to get by with the equipment we have on hand. It also helps you to see what a given piece of equipment can do on a variety of projects.
During the time that Tim was working on moving the dirt, I had to run to Walmart on a special mission for Vinny. It's nice to have two people on a project, one as a gopher.
We've had a hydraulic leak in this thing ever since we've had this power rake. It's once in a while just dribbles out a little bit on the backside, and I realized today that it might have finally leaked out enough to be relevant. There's a nice little dipstick right here. It's so clear though, it's hard to see where it is on the stick. Okay, there's a little slot for the ad mark. We'll see if there's oil in that slot when I pull it out. I really don't believe it's quite up to the ad mark. I guess I should try to fix the leak, huh? Okay. That'll do it.
You're not to the point where I could run Vinny, are you?
Yeah, I think you could run Vinny. I think kind of a continually thing. I might be putting some more on there, but you could be knocking that pile down that I'm spreading that as I go. I think I may need to raise this a little bit more. This was so pleasant in here. The weather was nice in the shade, and I must admit it's a lot of fun to work together with Christy with two tractors. I often get asked about what configuration of heavy hitch one should buy for rear ballast. For subcompact tractors, this is my favorite, the offset bracket with 8 70-pound weights. If you don't like lifting those weights, there's a couple of options. You can get the heavy hitch weight cart like I have, or you can buy the double bracket and say 12 of the 42-pound weights. That's a good solution as well. With a Kubota BX, due to the reduced lift capacity, you can probably get by with the regular bracket with 8 42-pound weights. In a few days, we'll release our second round of comparisons between the Kubota BX and the Deere 1025R. The topic of this second round is the mid-mount mower deck. Just to begin to get you thinking about that, my question to you now is, would you want to do this job with the mower deck still on the tractor? Or do you think it would work better and easier to have the mower deck totally removed? We were careful around this big tree. We didn't pile any soil near it at all, probably 6 foot away, and then we tapered it off toward the tree. I'm no arborist, but I've always heard that if you pile soil next to a tree, you risk killing it. We continue to learn more about the versatility of a power rake. It really helped in this project. With the loader, I could focus on just going and getting another bucket full. And I soon learned that I really didn't even have to do any back dragging or anything, just kind of dump it out there the best I could and let Christy deal with it. The power rake could knock it down and smooth it out, well, as fast as I could dump it out there. The frustrating thing is that power rakes are so incredibly expensive. I'm not exactly sure why, but wow. I looked up a 3-point hitch 4-foot version, which would fit Johnny. It's over $7,000. But as we continue to see more and more versatility, maybe it's worth it. This pile of dirt was created when they dug out the topsoil for that sidewalk. While it is all topsoil and perfect for this application, there are a lot of roots in it because it was around several of those trees. While we were spreading it, we just kept finding more and more roots and eventually piling them over there between those 2 trees in front of Vinny. We've learned several techniques that are helpful with the power rake. But probably the biggest one that I would mention here is persistence. Continuing to work the area with the power rake, it just gets better and better and better. Someone from the grounds crew came out and told us about an issue with the septic. There seems to be some issue with the septic system. It's quite muddy on one end. I don't think it's flowing perfectly. Compounding the problem, there's a little bit of a dip formed here, so surface water is collecting as well. While we're not septic experts and we know we're not really fixing the issue, we can at least build this up just a little bit so the surface water runs off. City sewer has recently become available in this area, so the church is looking to connect to it and be able to stop using this septic system, hopefully soon. Meanwhile, I think Christy's enjoying playing on the dirt pile with Vinny. She was providing some help because I was having trouble getting the bucket full. It had been packed so hard in there, and then the intertwined roots made it difficult as well. So she could loosen up some and make it easier for me to get my bucket full. But overall, I think she was just playing. Chuck has years and years of construction experience, so we decided we'd give him a try on Vinny. I think he liked it, but it didn't take much. He was ready to give it back to Christy. Seeing Christy work with that power rake, I think my effort was kind of extraneous here. I'm pretty sure Vinny and the power rake could have leveled that entire pile without having the bucket involved at all. It would have taken longer, but I'm convinced it could have been done. That squeal is the belt slipping. Think of it as the slip clutch. It's showing us the max limit that we can actually handle. As long as we pay attention and react appropriately when we hear that noise, we won't have any issues with the belt. We're going to pile some dirt around the edges here where once the concrete has been poured and the forms removed, we can push them right up to the edge. This should make final grading easier. And that's the same reason we're leaving some of those piles of dirt on the right. We'll finish that off on our final grading visit. So for this visit, I think we're getting close to project complete. Christy's got this smoothed out pretty nicely, at least nice enough for now. I think we'll sow seed on it later in the fall, so we can do some final cleanup then. I think we've found something that you like. This is the kind of detail work that you like doing.
Yeah, I like Vinny.
Well, we know that. I think that's been an ongoing theme.
Vinny's mine.
Tell me how come you're so shaded in there?
Because my loving husband put this nice canopy on. I think this is called rhino hide because it says that right there.
Boy, that's really
Hey, I was reading backwards,
okay.
but I do like it.
Yeah.
It keeps me nice and shaded.
It really, on a day like today when it's not very humid, it makes a huge difference.
It does. Now that I have to go home and mow the grass, it'll be even really good because that's not under the shaded trees. Can we plant some big trees like this in our front yard?
That'd be good. If we can plant big ones like that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So Chuck, we started with a big pile of dirt, and now we have no pile of dirt.
Excellent work for the day.
That's my kind of day. You know, when I was in software, I started the day and ended the day and could tell no difference.
One thing about construction, you can tell the difference.
You can?
You can.
Yeah.
And we had a second job we didn't know about. So.
Yeah, you know, this job, as I said at the beginning here, it expanded dramatically. We got some footage earlier of what I thought was the entire job. We put some of this slag. I thought it was sand, and he said it was slag.
Slag.
That's pretty cool stuff.
It is. Good stuff.
We put it below where you're going to put the sidewalk, right back there. That looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to pour next week probably.
So, hey, we can't wait to come back. This is our size project. We really like doing this.
Especially if it's in the shade.
Our next project will be the swale, and it's in the shade.
That's going to be a Casey project. I'm excited about that. So, hey, thank you. Thank you,
Both
Chuck.
of you.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
And Christy and Chuck.